not just here to teach girls how to play soccer. We're here to teach them how to be confident, how to lead, how to be part of a team, but more importantly, be able to play on every field across the world.
My biggest dream in soccer is being on the Canada's women's team. I would like to win the World Cup and win a big gold medal. Girls can play as good as boys. They're able to play at the same level, but I feel like other people don't think that.
I think just watching soccer and the female game growing across the world has been something that's a huge benefit. I mean, I've had season tickets for TFC it's going on 20 years. Being able to take my daughter to a women's professional soccer game in Toronto is something I never thought would have been a thing. So having her see the ability and the potential of what's there is something that's really important. And I think it's changed drastically with where even girls think. It's not just the university game anymore. There are other avenues. There are more leagues around the world with more notoriety and the ability for players to see that on a day-to-day basis.
My name is Kaylee and I'm 10 years old. When I first started playing soccer, it was in Ancaster. And what made me want to keep trying is because I had such a great time and I felt like I wanted to play a lot more. I remember from my first practice or game is that it was in Ancaster and that I scored the very first goal.
I wanted to try soccer because my brother was playing soccer and I wanted to play soccer. I don't remember much because I was 3, but I remember I was really excited to try to just kick the ball and stuff.
My mom signed me up for it, and then they asked me if I wanted to continue, and I said sure. So then I just started to play it. What I remember from my first rep game is I was the left wing, and I scored the first goal of the season. I played it when I was young, and since I was 5, it really became a part of my life, and now I have so much fun, and I make more friends.
I've made a lot of friendships on this team, and we've come a long way.
Having my daughter actually show how interested she was in the game and take on a position that she hated playing recreationally was something that really led me to want to help coach them, watch them develop, seeing where they had come from. There wasn't a lot of development, so wanting to be part of what change that would look like to make them better soccer players, better people was something that was really important for me.
Something I've learned about myself, I never really give up now. I used to give up very easily, but now I keep trying. I've learned ever since I started playing that I can be more aggressive than I've been and that I'm tougher than I thought I am. Soccer is a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
My favorite moment is probably winning a game and just having fun together.
I love most about being a part of this team is my strong friendships with everybody and how many good vibes that the coaches bring, and that it's just so much fun. When we had our team party this year, team meeting to make up our cheers and stuff, we were playing everything and it was just super fun. Soccer's became an important part of my life because ever since I started playing soccer, I've been dedicated to never quitting on it. And also I make so many friends and I have the smiley balls and it's just so much fun. After test blocks their mistake, we usually take out our smiley balls. We look at them, we say it's okay, you learn from your mistakes and that you can try better next time and you can reflect on what you did and then it's okay.
The smiley balls are something that Kiara brought in for the girls. And the whole idea was, we don't get to control the outcome of every game. We can control the input, we can control everything that we put into the game, But there may be games where we have a bad game, we lose. We may win, but we may feel like we're not in that place where we deserve the win. And we look at it in a different perspective. So the smiley ball is just something that the girls have really taken to. They can pull it out of their bag. They have it on them all the time. It makes them feel like they're in a better scenario and in a better place, regardless of the outcome of the game or how they feel they did, knowing that they're part of a team and there's this little smiley little ball that they carry in their bag that they can go to whenever they need to.
We help each other by comforting them and just telling them that it's okay.
What's your biggest dream in soccer, even if it feels far away right now?
My biggest dream in soccer is being on the Canada's women's team. I would like to win the World Cup and win a big gold medal. Winning the World Cup and getting Keeper of the Year award and stuff like that. Probably being a soccer coach because they can teach little kids and I like to do.
I would want to play in my hometown, so I'd be close to family and where I grew up.
The difference from then to now is then was just for fun. There wasn't a lot of avenues. You played soccer just to play, to get out, meet people, and maybe fall in love with the sport. I was introduced to soccer. I'm one of 3 boys. It was economical. Neither of my parents played. My dad played hockey and football at very high levels, but it was just one of those things at that time. It was something that was cheap and affordable and fun. It quickly became a passion. I feel like now we look at it from a different perspective. We look at it with girls today on, where can they go? Are we just having fun? Are we just staying in the recreational game? Or are we looking at developing players and moving them and making them confident in what they're doing?
I feel soccer for girls has changed compared to before. I feel like there's more girls teams and that girls have a bigger opportunity than they did. There's more opportunities for them and I think it's getting better as it goes up because we have the same chances now. Girls can do anything that boys can do in soccer and the girls never give up.
I think we should have the same chance as boys because we're all equal and we're all humans, so I think we should be treated equal.
I look at our girls team and I would say 75% of the parents are on the touchline every practice, every game. They're there and they're involved. On the boys game, I know the boys I coach are younger, but the parents drop them off and they leave. There's just this idea of the coach will take care of the players, the development will come, and whether it's good or bad, they're there just because they love the game, not necessarily that the parents are there. I find with the girls side of the game, the parents are way more involved. They want to be involved in everything. They want to be part of conversations. They want to have dialogue. They want to have meetings. They want to talk about, what conversations were had or, how did my kid do? And they want to understand how they can help develop them as well. So it's not just on the coaches. It's more of the community approach with the parents on the girls' team.
I hope that there will be more opportunities for girls to play soccer and people won't be afraid to try out.
I hope soccer will be more girl coaches, more teams.
Girls should be treated equal, no matter what gender they are.
Girls can play as good as boys, but boys think they are better. And I hope it's a bit better than it is now, and girls are hopefully way better than boys, and we can make it more popular than boys soccer right now.
I think the thing that gives me hope is they now have avenues, right? If we had this conversation 10 years ago, realistically, they would have either played on the national team or they would have done a university, and that was really it. We can now have conversations of watching players be sold in European clubs. We can watch players play in the NSL, play in the NWSL, and have that ability to see them to continue to grow, but always understanding that the fundamentals comes from what did they learn and what was the confidence they had as players and where they can take that. It's not just, I'm gonna play this because it's fun, and then one day maybe I'll coach my kids. It's, I can actually see a career and a passion out of this. It's not just something I'm doing.
I'd say probably earlier on in my career here at Mac, trying to figure out the bearings of what my role was on the team. It definitely took a toll on my mental just because our team's really good and has been really good in the past. Figuring out like how I can still contribute when I'm not starting definitely played a big role to how I felt as a human.
Performance used to define my worth, especially when I was in my teenage years. I feel like I overcame that hurdle. I think I struggled a lot with also imposter syndrome finishing my second year, but after doing a lot of reflecting and maturing and like the role I played on this team, I learned that I'm much more than volleyball, and my teammates have really helped me with that.
I started playing rugby in grade 9 because I went to a sports high school called Bill Carruthers in Markham, and you weren't allowed to play your main sport. I used to be a high-level competitive gymnast and a soccer player. I just wasn't doing well mentally, and I really didn't want to go to university. That wasn't my pathway, but I loved rugby so much, and there's no other route to go, really. So my U18 assistant coach, Katie McLeod, was the captain of the MEC women's rugby team, and she asked me if I applied to MEC. I said I did, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to university, and she asked if I got in. I was like, yeah, but I applied to this program at MEC for a joke. I applied to Help the Society. It was the only thing I got into here. But Katie told our coach, Jonesy, about me, and they kind of invited me out and recruited me here. So I'm here because of my old captain.
Yeah, there's definitely been lots of expectations over my career, especially as I'm getting towards the end of my career. I don't plan to play pro after this. So these next 5 weeks are the end of it. There's definitely expectations as you get older and become a vet on a team to be a leader and show up for those younger athletes on the team, and also just be a good role model for athletes and young girls just coming to watch our games.
I feel like whatever happens, I'm just so used to it because I've been playing sports and balancing school my whole life. So yeah, there's pressure. Yeah, sometimes I do struggle to reach my expectations.
I think there's two aspects of this question. So the mental performance, and that's, how are you handling the performance pressures, the injury, the return to play, I'm shooting below my average or playing below my average and I'm losing. And I think there's the mental health side of it. And so that is definitely combined with the mental performance, but it's separated in how am I balancing life and my emotional and social connection as well as the physical. And I think that's really hard. I think that's a gap and a difference that hasn't been fully explored in a practical setting. There's research behind it, but how many people are having access to mental health and mental performance that recognizes the difference and recognizes how both are impacting the other? From a coaching standpoint, I think that emotional intelligence is huge, and how you providing athletes the opportunity to balance, the stress and the struggles that are inevitable in sport.
That was awesome, right? You sat here, you saw, I think it was 71 people that came to see that flower game, right? These people are here for you. They sat here, they stood here, all right? Play for that. Play with that heart. Because they got your back today, and this is our house, we're here to protect it. Let's go.
The one who expects the most from me is me. When I'm in a rut, it's a little hard to get out of it, but I've done a lot of mental work, especially over the summer.
I try my best to not take it as big stressors and take it as a personal challenge. I mean, this year, I exited the summer with a fractured ankle. And that was not something I was looking forward to going into my senior year. So that was a big setback for me, especially coming out of summer where I was training here all summer and coming off of an OUA championship. Being out for 4 months was definitely tough and definitely a mental block that I've never experienced before.
I find every off season I manage to hurt myself to the point where it's I shouldn't play, but I play because it's not horrible, but it's not minuscule, and I do it every year. I've been here 4 years, and I've torn my knee. I tore my other knee. I broke my back. Now I have probably something torn in my shoulder right now. I'm waiting on an MRI. So, and that's where you're supposed to push yourself. It's where you're supposed to get stronger. Your coaches are on you. You're supposed to be at lift all the time. And it's yeah, you come to practice, you do the best you can, but you're not expected to necessarily get better in season. You're supposed to just work on what you got.
I got injured, I want to say April 22nd of last year. And I guess the months before that, I was at my peak. Like I was training every day at the gym, lifting, practicing. I was at my peak, like, this year is gonna be so great. I got Rookie of the Year at MAC, and I just had many conversations happening. I'm just excited. And then that day, I just tweaked my back, and then I generally just couldn't move. I went from running, I guess like 5K like every other day, lifting, playing soccer, to genuinely being stuck in my bed for 2 weeks. I couldn't move. It affected me mentally because, it's like telling a little girl she can't do the one thing that she dreamed of.
You don't have to pretend like it doesn't happen and like it's not there and everything is perfect for student athletes and young women that are going through their undergrad, that are going through university sport. So I think the big space is creating an environment they feel like they can bring it up and they have the tools to work on it in a safe space. So everyone's doing something different. We have access to experts. We have access to other staff members. We put time and focus in that balance the same way we do their jump shot or what they're hitting in the gym and their conditioning aspects.
Okay, so what's something about being a female athlete in university sport that most people don't see?
I think being a woman in sport has definitely been a struggle for like many in the past. I think especially right now, there's a surge of support when it comes to women in sport, especially down in the States. There's a lot coming from like the new pro volleyball leagues, and there's a lot more just exposure for women's sports nowadays, but it's definitely been a struggle in the past. And comparing this year and the past couple of years to my first year, there was not that much coverage of women's volleyball at MAC. So it's really cool to see the sport grow as my career is growing as well.
It's not even just how men's and women's teams are treated, it's also the way male athletes and female athletes act in general. A lot of female athletes are afraid to take up space, whether it's in like our recovery clinic or on the sidelines or in the public gym. I feel like women are often afraid to take up space at our games as well. Like I've always noticed that we get a smaller crowd for our games.
For a long time, we shared our opinions and you're immediately thought as like a negative person, a mean girl. But we're starting to realize that no, we can be harsh, we can be critics. And that to me is exciting because I think we're no longer tiptoeing around maybe subject matter that we were at one point afraid to speak on. Women in sports personality roles share what they think and they're not afraid to be critical, which is a really exciting thing because it puts us on a level playing field with the men who have been ranting about sports forever.
The men just started playing on our stadium field 2 years ago. The men used to always play on our grass field out back. There's like 2 small bleachers. The bleachers would be filled, one with parents and one with the women's team watching. They used to not have that many fans, and we used to get a decent section in the bleachers, like in the stands on the stadium. 2 years ago, we fought for our men to like be allowed to play on the stadium, and magically they have the entire thing filled. Sometimes I feel like it's almost as filled as if it was a football game. And I'm like, no one even knew they used to play out on the grass field. The second they're playing on the stadium, they have a way bigger fan base than we do.
Hundreds of students at McGill have had their hearts ripped out.
The McGill University Athletics Department announced last week that they will be eliminating competitive sports clubs and varsity teams from 15 sports.
It's definitely scary because we're seeing it come across the country of sports teams being cut due to funding and not enough interest.
Honestly, I'd drop out. My mom would probably be really mad, but I would drop out. I don't know what I would do without rugby here at all if they took it away from me. I spend honestly 70% of my time focusing on rugby while I'm at school. I honestly work my studying around my sports instead of my sports around my studying. I'd be devastated. I don't understand why they would just take it away either. Like that would, just for funding, we barely have any funds anyways. You're not getting anything out of it if you cut women's sports.
Luckily at MAC, there is a big support system for our court sports. So it definitely has been of the topic recently, but it's something that I try not to focus on too much and let that affect me and like my experience here.
I think I have hope. I do. There's a lot of women's rugby players in North America that have made a name for themselves.
It's definitely changed. You see, right now the WNBA is kind of standing firm that they should be paid what they're owed and going through that negotiation process, and that's something that wasn't happening 10, 15 years ago.
In terms of volleyball specifically, it's one of the quickest growing female sports in the country and in the US as well. I'm really excited to see where it goes because a lot of really, really talented athletes, especially in the US, are getting the recognition they deserve.
You've seen NCAA finally brand women's basketball as March Madness. For the longest time it wasn't, and so there's definitely some growth from an international and world standpoint. And women's basketball and women's sport, which is huge. Following the lead of, it was Billie Jean, that was the first woman athlete paid the same as the men in tennis, and seeing that grow into more and more sports and more communities has been huge.
I think the better question is, why isn't it exciting? There's so many reasons that we should be just extremely hyped over the women's sports landscape right now, and all the women who are increasingly involved in it. I think representation is so important.
Girls I know are getting like brand deals, a lot more sponsorships, and a lot more money now, and as they should. And I'm really excited to see like what the future holds, especially for women's volleyball.
It's exciting because we have our place and we're doing a lot of things and breaking a lot of records, and it's a huge investment opportunity in women's sport and what women can do at all levels of sport. So whether that's coaching, administration, officiating, broadcasting, general managers, but it's a huge opportunity that hasn't been equitable in the past, and seeing that grow is only going to open up more of what sport can do and who it can impact.
The sport's only getting bigger, so especially down in the States, like they are having a lot more opportunity being in the media. NCAA tournament in December was broadcasted on ESPN and Big Ten Network and everything. So the past few years, we've been lucky enough to be on CBC Sports. It's only growing from here. As the years go on, I'm sure the sport will get bigger, and that's a big hope for me.
Honestly, I think it's growing immensely. On my feed, I don't only see men's sport anymore, I see women's sport. I see more media coverage, more support from the community. I see more younger girls wanting to play in sports because now they have, these figures and inspirations that they want to be and, dream to be like.
I think like my biggest advice to young women and young girls wanting to go into athletics is that you are more powerful than you realize. I've had that quote kind of in the back of my head since I was 13, and it has helped me understand whether or not I want to continue playing sport, and that there's still opportunity for me to play.
Going professionally is not the only route to keep volleyball in your life, and I've told quite a few girls that I used to coach this. Going professional, if you don't do it, it's not the be-all, end-all. A ton of my former teammates, they're still coaching. You can play in rec leagues, you can play in intramurals. There's so many other ways to keep volleyball in your life, especially if it makes you happy.
Going pro is not sort of the definitive measure of success. Playing youth sports, playing at university is such an accomplishment in itself. I played soccer. I had no intention of playing for Barcelona overseas, but I am so glad that I played the sport as long as I did, because it taught me so many things about myself, how to be a leader, how to, carry myself in a professional environment.
There's general managing, there's sport administration. We need sport administration and leadership in sport that have been student athletes, that have coached and using that experience. There's athletic therapy and physios and strength conditioning, and so there's really any realm of sport and any realm of life can be tied into some sort of sport or recreation to open up opportunities.
Be excited, because there are so many pathways now to continue in sports, whether that's playing the sport or talking about it. There are more women and more girls involved. Leagues like the NSL, not only are there more accessible pathways to play professionally, but also to cover the sport at a professional level. You saw so many color commentators and sideline reporters who are women who are leading the coverage on this league.
The biggest, simplest, easy message is, as Nike says, just do it. You're going to have a lot of people that doubt you. You're going to have a lot of closed doors and limited opportunities. So don't make it your own, Don't be one of those limitations for you, and commit to it. Because if you commit to things, good things happen, whether you end up that professional athlete or not.
If you love sports, stay involved. Don't leave, the sports environment just because you aren't playing anymore or don't see yourself playing at a professional level. There are so many other pathways and potential jobs for you to, be in the industry and immerse yourself and help push this wave of women's sports forward, because you are the only one who does what you do the way you do it. So don't assume that you don't belong, because you have a unique perspective that is necessary and important that nobody else has. So don't assume that, there are enough women in the industry, because it's not true. You have to trust your instincts and know that you bring something unique to the table.
Commit to it. Keep playing and find something to commit to. And as you grow up, use your voice. So if you do find yourself in a position of leadership or a position to make decisions, make decisions the younger you would be proud of. Make decisions that make it easier for the younger you. And that's how we kind of keep moving things forward. So, develop that sense of confidence and belief in who you are and what you can do.